is Chuck Cherry Live. We're going to talk about our next generation of upsells extras. I'm Jed. I'm one of the co-founders. Matt, the other co-founder here at Chuck Cherry. And so this is a sneak peek. We want to share something that's coming and get feedback and all that stuff. So as usual, Matt will be doing the driving. I'll be fielding questions, that type of stuff. Feel free to chat, raise your hand. I'll try to get to you. And we've been working on this for a while, right? And I suppose, I guess let's just dive into it, I suppose. I was
Yeah,
gonna say, what's
I'll
what's
dive.
different than add-ons is my first question. So I'll let them ask, but um, you know,
Cool. Yep. Thanks, Judd. Yeah, welcome everybody. Um, Basically, what we're going to be doing today is kind of a sneak peek. I think something more. I think we'll roll out in some form this week. We'll see if it's. We may make it generally available. We may make it, a thing where you chat with us, but to enable. But basically, the idea is right now on your account, you've always had packages, add-ons, backdrops. It's kind of a photo booth specific feature, and it's long been something we wanted to do, which is to kind of make this a little bit more generic. The problems that people run into with what we have now is that, add-ons are great when you have a bunch of items and you want to let your customers choose any number of those items, right? They can come in, they can pick, this one and this one. They might pick they might not pick anything. They might pick everything, number of different items.
mhm.
Then kind of the next level is backdrops, which we show on every account, even if you're not a photo booth. But basically with backdrops, typically the customer is going to see all the different backdrops you have and then choose one of them. And then they'll go on to the next step. And so, not super frequently, but an occasional question we get is like, hey, I want something else that's not an add-on or a backdrop. I need my customer to choose two of something or
Yeah.
them to
Green
choose.
screen backdrops. I need one more than one. We don't
Yeah,
have an elegant solution there. Yeah.
right.
Props, choose one of so many. Yeah.
Mhm. And so the idea is to make this a little bit more generic. This is something that kind of ties into absolutely everything in Check Cherry, which is why it's taken a long time for it to come out. But basically, the kind of the goal is to give you some more flexibility to give some more different use cases. So this is a feature we'll be working on, continuing to add functionality to. But kind of the gist of it is now if you go to Booking Engine. We've always had these extra questions, or we've had them there for a long time. There's now a new tab in here called extra categories. And so let's say we want to add, let's go with props. Maybe I have props, collections or, sets of props that I want my customers to choose from, or, and I want them to choose one or choose 5 props or something like that. So let's go ahead and add that. And once I do that, it's going to say your extra category has been created. And now in my drop down here, in addition to add-ons and backdrops, I've got this new one called props. And so it works real similar to add-ons. You can add things. So let's go ahead and upload something. We'll call it, props pack number 1 and put an image there and hit save. And I'm going to delete this example 1. Maybe create another one. And of
Matt's got
course,
all his data queued up. You're ready. Look at it. Were you practicing?
but I did add a couple of them to our media layer. I was like, oh, it's going to be
Yeah.
annoying finding the photos.
Love
Uh,
it.
yeah. And of course, you can set a price on these just like add-ons. You can do kind of all the normal like package type things or add-on type pricing schemes where, it multiplies by hours, by days, all that type
So
of
it's
stuff.
going to feel a lot like add-ons, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Real similar to add-ons. And then let's add one more just to have a few to look at here. And once you do that, now you've got a place to upload all your props and manage them. And so how that looks from the customer side is They come through, they go to the photo booth, they pick a package, pick a date a little bit in the future here. And the add-on step, same as before. And then this, oh, and I guess we've got a backdrop
Yep,
step.
that's still there, whatever. Yeah.
And then after that, your new step is going to show up. So we've got this prop step. And it's going to have kind of real similar, they can click, they can see the preview, just like add-ons. They can choose things, they can add it to their order, and it's going to get added on. And
So
so,
I have a question.
yep,
Will each prop or will each extra category be a separate step
yes.
in the booking engine? And so that's another thing that people asked, right? Or they have a lot of add-ons and it just kind of got overwhelming on that add-on step. So I think that's great too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the simplest case, hey, I want another step, I want another add-on. Similar, if I go to a proposal, if I create a new proposal now, choose one of our packages, we'll choose a date, we'll choose a time. And now I've got another item here called props in the dropdown. And, the same way I can do an add-on, I can,
What do you call it? Props. Yeah. There you go.
and I can add some props to my
Yeah.
proposal. Go ahead and do that.
Colette has his hand up when you're ready for a question, Matt.
Go for it.
Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
My question is because I have props in general as an add-on, and what you just showed is an amazing feature. But my question is, can this props category show up only when they choose like tie it to an add-on?
Mm, Not currently. Makes sense though. So basically, it's something where you want to, if they choose the props add-on, then add the step at that point.
Yeah, that's what my recommendation is because
Uh-huh.
honestly, I've been waiting for this feature for a long time, and you guys you
Uh-huh.
should see the smile on my face right now.
Now,
Uh,
I have a question. Why not just have the props and then charge for them right there? Like, why
I'm
have
gonna
the add-on?
I have the props as an add-on because due to COVID, a lot of people just started saying we don't want props, this and that. So I just adjusted my prices in consequence. And I do a lot of weddings as well where they take the glam package without the props. So when I give them a mix of, over 50 different props, I charge a little bit for that. And part of that is also the handheld signs. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
then, do you have them choose among the props? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. So I would send them a different link to choose from the props, and then I would put it in the notes that they chose prop set number one, prop
Yeah.
set number two, and then but having it online like that, like through the check cherry process, is an amazing add-on. I'm just trying to see how I can fit it in within my
Well, I mean,
my bookings.
Matt, could he not have basically a props add-on and then just have that as a step and they could skip it, right? If they
Yeah,
don't want it?
yeah, you can make it, you can have the steps be skippable and then you can tie it into just certain packages as well. So we'll take a look at some of that. But so that would be one option is like you have it's like a skippable step, they
Yeah.
can use it if they want or not. But yeah, depending on how your pricing and stuff works, yeah, that would be the only
That
change.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Tiffany's asking here, so essentially this is a way to make add-ons show in separate steps versus all together. Is that correct? I would say it's one difference. There's actually more. I mean, if that was just it, but there's more to it, and I guess we can get into some more of
Yeah. Yeah, we can get into some more of the settings. So that's kind of the simplest case, right? I just want to have another step that functions like an add-on. They can come in, they can pick things, all that type of stuff. So that's great, useful for certain things. But let's go to once you've added um, a category, let's go over to the package manager now. And let's go to one of our packages. And so under advanced, we've got kind of a junk drawer of stuff under advanced, but we've,
Totally.
we've always had
Do you really know what you're doing here? No.
so if you're interested enough to be on the advanced page,
So stop.
we've had the backdrops page option. we've got some add-ons options. So now we've got a new panel here for props showing up. And this is where you can set your settings for props. So as an example, maybe you don't want this to show up on every package. You just want it to show up on certain packages. Or you don't want it, you don't want it to show up at all on this package. Or you want to say, hey, this is something that, I want them to pick one. And so like an example of that would be backdrops. Eventually kind of the plan is to roll backdrops into this feature so that, if you're not a photo booth company, there's not really any reason to have backdrops as a separate thing. And even add-ons, add-ons are kind of a type of extra category, but at this time they're just kind of built in. So, but what you can do is you can say, hey, I only want my customers to choose, one or three or, five or whatever. And then you have this skip option as well. So the skip works kind of similar to the skip option with backdrops, where your customers can just skip it and fill it out later. So that's an option as well. And we'll look at some ways a little bit later for how you can bulk update your packages, so you don't need to go into every single package individually. But that's kind of the idea there, is that maybe with certain packages you include the props or other things, and then with other packages you don't. So then let's go back to, so under the booking engine and then extra categories, let's add one more category here. We're just going to call it equipment for now. And let me go back to that step again. And so one thing worth noting, you can drag and drop these. So, if you want to kind of change the order, if I put equipment here, it's going to change the sort order up top here, of course. So, so you can kind of move those around. We're starting out with a limited number of these. Kind of what we don't want is for people to add, you shouldn't have 10 different categories. Generally, 2, 3 is probably what the most I can see to add. So it's not, at least for now, if you have a use case where you need more categories than we allow, let us know. I'd be interested to hear it. But we're kind of keeping it limited, because what we don't want is to create 100 steps in your booking process, because that's not going to convert well. It's going to make, things like your drop downs real long and stuff like that. But if I go into the settings here, there's another setting that impacts quite a few things. So it's called customer visibility. And so we've got a number of options here. And basically what you can do with this is control, like, to what extent or when your customers can see these extra items. And so as an example, you might have certain things, certain items that you only show before the booking, and so that would be while they go through the online booking process, similar to your add-ons and backdrops. That's the only time you want them to see it. We also, a piece of feedback we've gotten is that people want to have kind of a post-sale, after the event, I want to have certain items available to my customers. And so I think that's big, like on the photography side, right? Like I have, certain, okay,
sell
now,
photos,
right, exactly. So, if you have custom items, for their event based on the photos that were taken there or things like that are available to purchase, this is a good setting for that, because then you can show it only after that, and maybe have a link to their booking page or to their portal where they can add those on, or maybe if maybe your attendant there at the event can do it, or things like that. And then a couple settings we'll probably launch with, but only show when added to the booking. So one use case we've seen some people do is they have kind of like, add-ons that aren't really for their customer to choose from. There are certain things that they use internally, they assign to it, and it might impact the pricing, right? Maybe it's a, an extra room and board travel thing that they add. That's not something the customer's typically going to choose, but you might have that you want to be able to assign internally. And so if you choose this option, only show when added to booking, your customers aren't going to be able to browse these items. Those are just going to be for you to add on. And so if you want to
but the customer will see it.
Yeah, but only if you add it on there. So they're not see all of them, just the ones you've assigned.
Yep.
And then the last option we have here is never show. So never show to the customer. And these are for items that are purely internal for your use. So if you want to, we labeled this equipment earlier. You can basically use this as a simple way to assign equipment or things like that to a booking, right? So say I have an equipment category. This is never shown to my customer. I can go in here. I can, add photo, photo booth unit number
Yeah,
one.
whatever. You got,
Yeah. And I can, upload a loaded picture if I want or not. You typically would not charge anything on this. I mean, the customer's not going to see it, so it's not really, you know, we'll probably hide the pricing. In fact,
yeah. So that's gonna be this little wrinkle there that we got to figure out. But yeah.
um, and then for that to upload. Oops.
All right. Meanwhile, Gerald says, "I love this. Would also love if these can be attached to add-ons as well as packages." Gerald, unmute yourself. I want to hear kind of some use cases.
Sure. So as an example, if we're selling something that's an add-on that we want them to have selections of. So for instance, we're selling a prop add-on, but then we want to have that particular package that they bought, like say they bought the glam package, it'd be nice to be able to have then the equipment and then we can dictate how many of those items. It kind of falls back to my request sort of before where the add-ons, when you create the sections, if you could actually make the sections exactly kind of what you're doing now where you could say you can only pick one or you have to
Yeah,
pick
exactly.
like we do audio guest books and then we'll do like free audio guest book and they see all the audio guest books but there's nothing stopping them from selecting two audio guest books or three or things like that. So this new add-on that you're doing, you can tighten that up and you can say you can only select one
Yep.
of these and make it so they can't. We can't do that with the add-ons, but there's certain things that we would add on um, as a, something that we would add on extra. Like a lot of times we would take some certain DJ packages and we might want to add on a photo booth package as opposed to having them book a second package because we find that that does get confusing once they're trying to work with two packages at the same time. It just gives the flexibility for certain things that we add on that we can say you can select once you select your add-on, then there's some options
Hmm.
for it, or maybe
And
there's
the
some
options would be free, I would assume, right? Everything that
not,
we have.
no, not necessarily. No.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we might charge like, for instance, for our backdrops, we have different prices for that, and it's all set up for backdrops to do that. But for something like prop packages, we may have like a table that they can get a 6 foot table full of props, or they can get a 4 foot, or they can pick individual ones. Or we might want to say, okay, well, if you add on the 6 foot table, with that, you can select four of these props and four glasses, and
Okay.
or they can detail them out. The add-on to them is adding the prop table, then the ability to actually say, well, now that you've added that add-on, here's what you can select as part of that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Cool.
and that's kind of where we're going with that is that because I have a whole pile, I just spent a fortune on a whole pile of signed packages for all different things. I've
You
got
gotta make some money.
I got some
Yeah.
shittier
Gotta make
old
a
ones.
profit.
I want to charge for them exactly, but I also want to be able to sell them a table full of props. And if I do that, I can't really sell them a table full of props and then try to tack on all those extras. So that would be a perfect example of how the first thing that I would use
Love it.
in that way because it allows,
Yeah.
it's
No, better selling. I like it.
the
Okay.
add-ons are just as important to us as the packages, honestly, because a lot of the things that we put as add-ons, they're an add-on
So
to a
maybe add-ons never go away, Matt. Okay.
yeah,
The
or tighten up the add-ons so that you can actually say you can pick an add-on, but you have to. But honestly,
yeah.
this works even better because
Yeah.
yeah. So that would be my justification for why
Yeah,
having
no, I'm curious of use cases and if how we can kind of work it in. So thank you so much.
yeah.
Yeah.
Led has his hand up again. Let's hear it. The Led, you still there? You want to unmute yourself?
Sorry, guys. Yeah. So my question is that I just saw what you guys did with the applicable if something. Just trying to understand. Isn't that kind of what I asked before? That's why the minute I saw that, I raised my hand, and I said to myself, well, if we can apply this category, if they chose something, Maybe I misunderstood.
Well, you can say if they chose a package, yeah, it can show up. It's not, my understanding is if you choose an add-on, it doesn't show up.
Oh,
Kind of
okay.
like,
So
honestly, what we were thinking is this would probably replace add-ons over time. That's kind of like and I don't know
I,
what
I
we would call it or
I
how that would
think
work, but it's kind of just
Yeah.
more like a more well thought out add-on system. And, and we can kind of like rethink it from the ground up.
you
Whichever the
guys are
parent.
overthinking it. I think that honestly, your formula is amazing. You can't mess with perfections. You guys,
You're too
you give us
kind.
the option of going step by step. Even when you give us the option of choosing that this applies to a package or an add-on, that is honestly, I can't see better than that. So
Awesome.
trying to tamper with something that works perfectly is honestly, I don't think. I think you guys can
There's
create this
That's funny.
to always what I'm thinking it could do. You know what I mean? Like
Well, yeah, we're always listening to customers, and it's
it's
one thing I
it's
would
amazing.
say.
You guys listen to us. That's what matters.
Yeah, and we want to find a way that has software that's helpful, I think at the end of the day. So, I mean, that's really super. But yeah, thanks for the kind words. Sunflower
Whenever,
Dreams. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
sorry, I just want to say whenever you guys, I don't know if you're gonna also blow our minds with your next like introduction soon, but I also have something in mind. When it comes to having how many attendants can be at a photo booth. I don't know if you guys thought of
Yeah,
that.
I know. Yeah, you want to kind
It
of like if there's so many guests or something that there's certain amount of attendance. I think if I remember right. Uh,
Yes, I don't know
and I
if
know
that.
that's the thing is, I think you're the only person that's ever asked for that. Oddly enough, I
Well,
don't think
since everyone
that's
is here, I want to explain why. It's because if we're doing a 600 people event, I mean, we need multiple attendants just to conserve the quality of service, right? So
isn't there just one booth, or do you do multiple booths?
we can no, even at one booth, having two people for like 8 hour contracts, I can't just leave one
Yeah, no,
person.
I
I
get
gotta be
that.
human, you know what I mean? If the
Mhm.
attendants want to go to the washroom or something and the photo booth still, the show must go on. I still need. Sometimes I put three people at the photo booth just so they can do rotation.
No, I mean, I'm not saying you're doing it wrong. I'm just I'm
Yeah.
saying it's not common feedback we get. So that's just saying it's not a good idea or we shouldn't implement it. Just why it hasn't made the priority list, I think, is at the end of the day. But I think maybe I don't know, maybe at some point.
Yeah, I think, a way to set the number of people, certainly manually, I mean, to where you could say, hey, I need 3 staff on a booking, I think certainly we can do that. And I think where we're a little less sure is how to automate that, whether that's on a package setting or
We can tie it to an add-on that if this add-on exists, then a second attendant can. And also another thing that I wanted to also recommend to you guys is let's say 5 people of my staff that request one event, right? When I accept that one person, I don't see the other four. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That requested that same event, but I need to put 2 people. So I would have to remove that person
Yeah,
to see who else applied.
no, that's something that we've heard from other
Yeah.
people for sure. So I totally get
Yeah.
that.
Letting you set like say, hey, I need 2 of these or something like that.
Yep, I get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yep. Sunflower Dream says, I missed the beginning. Why would you want to use this for backdrops rather than other backdrop options? And the short answer is it might replace backdrops. You might not have a choice, but a feature that you were going to get this with this, which where you wouldn't get with the other backdrop feature is like, hey, choose two options. So we have some people that do like green screen backdrops and they do like multiple files, so to speak. So I've seen that, stuff like that. So, but I don't know, there's a very compelling reason at this moment in time.
Most people, to be clear, use your backdrops in the city.
Yeah,
Just
don't worry
talking
about this yet.
yeah, long term.
Yeah,
We don't. It doesn't make sense for a mobile bar or a venue owner to see backdrops in their account. That's the main thing we're talking about. Where we don't want to show backdrops to everybody if they don't use the backdrops features. So long term, backdrops will be a type of category. We'll migrate it. It'll be seamless,
yeah.
but for now, like unless you have a very unusual case, continue to use backdrops, continue to use add-ons. This is only if add-ons and backdrops aren't meeting your needs right now.
We
That's
have another option. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Samantha and I were talking about some of the issues that I have with backdrops today in terms of bulk updates and stuff. But that sounds like that's coming next month.
And then right now I load all my props in as add-ons that are free of charge, so people can pick and choose. But you're saying that's all going to go to props?
You
Or is that
can,
just
if you want to have it as a separate step, then this gives you a way to do that. So the reason that if the add-ons are working for you, leave it as is. Like you don't have to change anything at all. Like you can never use this feature and you'll be fine. But if you want to pull your props to a separate step, maybe you need your customers to choose 3 items, or you want to make sure they pick at least one, or that type of thing. In the same way that a backdrop makes you choose one and only one, maybe you want to do something similar with another category. So that's the use case we're going after. Yeah. But certainly if what where you have them now is working, then that's totally fine. No need to move it to another step and re-upload and stuff. It's just if you have a case where like, hey, this isn't quite working for me, or it'd be great if I had another step to break them out separately, that it becomes useful, I think.
And Richard, is it you typically who chats with us? I know you have both of you and your partner's name on there.
Yeah. No, I'm typically there. And I love it. I love what you guys did a couple weeks ago with making my questionnaires, my design templates apply to certain packages. That was a big hassle for me. So I really appreciate it. Not add-ons, the designer templates.
Yeah.
So we sell custom books, guest books with our photo booth. And so customers have to go through the design collection to fill out the questions to create their custom book. It's one of our add-ons, but it ends up loading all the, anyways, it doesn't matter. It's not the purpose of your backdrop, your thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Several other comments here, Matt, just FYI, just saying minimum 2 people on 100 event. Yes, we need 2 people on an event. Alternate option in case someone cancels. Awesome too. Gerald has another assigned staff question. You want to have at it?
Sure. And I noticed this because I had an event. I booked an event where it was like a 2-day. I was officiating on the Friday and then we were DJing on the Saturday. And because it's the same client, and I'll put it kind of like on the same page as far as for like it had Friday and Saturday, all like almost like one event, even though it was like kind of 2. But what I noticed is that you can only assign the staff to both. So like for instance, it was just me officiating, but when I assign my DJs on it, they all think that they're working Friday. There wasn't a way to actually staff the individual things. And then I thought, well, then maybe if there's, if you're setting up a DJ event and a photo booth package and stuff, one might require one staff person to start at one time, and then photo booth might be someone later. Now I kind of did it sort of in the notes, I gave them in the title sort of thing, but I thought that would be nice if you could actually schedule staff specifically on the package, and then it's not going to spread over 2 days.
Yeah.
So my staff all think
it actually came up when we had the feature where you could add multiple packages to a proposal and booking and stuff like that. This came up, and it's a little more complicated than one would think. But I think the guys that do it makes sense. It's just
it's pretty high up there. Yeah,
totally get it.
Yeah.
Raquel says, I would recommend changing deposit to booking amount, reservation amount, because deposit usually denotes money is refundable, and this is not always the case. We have some settings here because apparently this is, a hot button topic, and the advice is wide ranging from what I've seen, and it depends on your state's law. And I would recommend not, just looking at what people are saying online, but look at states have different contract law effectively, and words can mean things. So we do have a setting, under due dates, where you can say deposit, initial payment, booking fee, and retainer. So we don't have booking amount or reservation amount, but we have, one of those 4 probably should work for you, Raquel. And then Tiffany says, super unrelated question, but is there a way to make backdrop selection show in the booking process before add-ons? I feel it's a little clunky. No, but if you eventually, you saw Matt was reorganizing the extra categories, potentially, you could do it with extra categories, but no, you can't do that currently. Darnell gave an answer here. Yeah, default position in court of law. But anyway, Raquel, I would talk to a contract lawyer that's familiar with your state, It's my understanding that state contract law varies, assuming you're in the US, of course. But yeah, take a look. But there are some options there for you. And Marie has her hand up. Let's hear it. Hey.
Oh, am I unmuted?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay.
Hello.
I know. So I know Matt's probably got like stuff to show, but I'm trying to understand this upsell thing. So if you're in the booking portion, and I mean, you guys know, I also do event decor. So if somebody books a wedding DJ or a photo booth, I want it to show, to pop up or whatever, so they know that I can do event signage or, whatever else we do. Is that what this is for?
Well, not necessarily, but maybe Matt, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. It depends if, I mean, they can already, under the extra, we do have the option where they can see different packages. So I don't know if you already have them in there as like different packages. That is,
You can do online booking with multiple packages with that
yeah,
said.
they can do that. Yeah.
Well, the
Um,
reason I'm asking is because like today, I've been working on this whole thing, a whole process that I'm doing for a Sunday event. She was like, well, I need uplights. So I'm like, they're in the add-ons. She goes, I don't know where that is. So I'm trying to figure out what's missing that the client can't understand
Right.
to look
Is
under the
that-
add-ons.
Yeah. Is that common feedback you get, or is that, I mean, sometimes what I've noticed
Yeah.
clients are
They
just
call
like,
me,
you
they
know,
call me and ask me for pictures, and I'm like, it's all in the add-on area. So that's what I'm wondering. That's why I was interested in this. I thought maybe
yeah.
this was going to help.
well, how many
us.
add-ons do you have, I guess would be one question, because if they're really far down and you got tons of add-ons, this might help because you can have it next step, basically.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering because
Yeah.
we have
We've got some customers that have like
hundreds.
the amount of add-ons they have is ridiculous. And so this should help. That being said, I mean, I don't, I would, personally, I would find ways to not show, I would show what gets sold most often, basically,
But yeah,
Okay.
and then
push it
we
up
can
higher.
have a quick link that you can use to share directly your add-ons page as well. That'll take them straight there. But yeah, maybe maybe having a few different steps. If there's different things that
Each
apply.
category, will have its own
work,
step.
yeah, might simplify things a little bit.
Yeah, and that'll bring it up higher, but consider pushing stuff higher. But yeah, I mean, I think having a separate step, it should be easier for them to see, but they're going to have to continue in the booking process. Yeah. And I'd have to look at the setup,
Yeah.
honestly. But it's my thought is like you got a lot of add-ons, they're buried far down the page, and it's hard for them to. Nobody's got patience when they're looking at web pages. We're just like, oh, it's not there, I'm out,
Well, I think the biggest thing is they don't realize that we do any of that. Like it's hidden to them somehow. I don't know. I mean, I guess if
Yeah.
you're shopping for just the photo booth, you don't, because I mean, I have marquee boards and things that it's under event signage. It's not under photo booth necessarily. So yeah, I was trying to figure out a way to make them see
And
that
I
as
would
a
also verify
step.
they're actually showing up, because if you add new packages and other stuff, like make sure that it is showing up. Be another thing.
Okay.
It's possible. I've seen where people add packages and it doesn't get checked. They've checked their the package scope certain ways, and they've reorganized and done things and relabeled things. And
But you know how like you go on to, let's say you go on to IKEA and you pick something, you add it to your cart. At the bottom, it'll say, these might interest you too. Is there some way we can do that?
I think it'd be cool. I mean, I don't know, like where would that show up?
Well, because like during their booking, is there a way to like because that's what I thought this might be, was something where it just says, oh,
Like
and did you
recommended
know
or
we have,
something?
recommended
Yeah.
based on your purchase, these things might
We'll
go
see
well too.
Yeah.
Yeah, not currently. I mean, it makes sense to have like either offers, like specials you want to do, or incentives, or recommendations, like you say. That would probably be a no-brainer. Of we could potentially even do that automatically, so you didn't have to set it up. But yeah. Right now, when they add something to their cart, it just takes them back to the same page that has all of the add-ons. But you know, depending, I mean, if you do have a ton of add-ons, this, you know, it's great in terms of like, it shows right there, they can see it and take it back off and all that. But, you know, there is some scrolling if you've got a ton of different add-ons as well. So yeah, I think some recommendations and things like that would certainly be a good idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Got more questions? Theo says, hey, are these features live now?
Not yet, but we'll launch these pretty soon. Part of it was kind of see, you know, what feedback we get. We'll talk about, you know, maybe tying it to add-ons and some things like that. So we'll see. But I would expect sometime this week we'll have this ready to go, and we'll send an email out when we do that for sure.
Yeah. And then Helen says, is there a way I can add a security deposit fee to the total? And you can, I mean, what do we have? People do this with the flex pricing.
Yeah, you can with flex pricing. You can do something like set a surcharge on there. Um, you know, security deposit, you know, whatever you want to charge, $200.
Yeah. I mean, there's
sure
a couple of things worth mentioning, which is, you know, if they use credit card, you know, you'll get the charge, and then you'll have to refund them. And we don't have like an automatic way to refund, so to speak. And then also when you do refund, you don't get the processing fees back. So keep that in mind. It would be awesome. It's like when you show up to a hotel, they authorize your card and stuff like that. But authorizations only last for like a max of 30 days.
I think it's even
So
less now. I think
it's even
like
less now. Yeah. So it's not like, and then also I could see that leading to a customer service nightmare where you're like tying up somebody's debit card or something like that. So, you know, that's the way to do it. And we do have people that will add a security deposit and then go in and refund, but it's a bit of a manual process at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then we've got, who is it? Audie has his hand up. Let's hear it. Thanks for coming.
Hey, hello guys. So my question is something a little bit out of this. I don't know if it's gonna be right to even ask. I notice whenever I am trying to send a message, I can't insert the picture. It just crash. And I've noticed it for over 2, 3 like months now. So I've been meaning to like ask. So I don't know if it's something you want to touch up now, or maybe I should just reach out to you guys in person for that.
Yeah, reach out to me on the chat. We had like one, or I think maybe two other people mentioned
We're not the
something.
only one, yeah. And we've kind of looked into it, trying to fix
Yeah, we
it.
can't. We have not been able to reproduce anything on our end. If you want to do a Zoom, I'd be happy to. Seems like it's something browser specific. I don't know if there's like a certain plugin that people run that's causing an issue or something like that. But if you're up for hopping on a Zoom, just chat with us and we'll see.
Yeah.
Definitely no, it will be my pleasure because I'm experimenting with a way to like get them to book without having to talk to them. I'm still trying to so I'm trying to use some photos and play.
And we can probably fix it, but
Okay.
whatever it is, yeah, it's not something we've been able to see on our end. We've all tried.
Intermittent, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll schedule a call for that then, no problem.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
even after this call, if that's okay with you, I'm available. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, let me before we go to we've got one more thing we want to show off today, and I don't want to run out of time. So
yeah.
So this will be a pretty quick one, I think, but one of the other things we're going to be launching as well is basically some bulk update tools for your packages, for your add-ons, for your backdrops as well. And so how that's going to work is, you know, now you'll be able to go to add-ons. Like, you know, right now everything's, you know, you can see everything, and you have to, if you want to make changes to something, you've got to kind of do it one add-on at a time. What we're going to be doing is basically, instead of that, you'll also have a bulk edit option. And so toward the top, you'll see bulk edit, and you'll be able to check a bunch of them and then make changes to it. So if you want to update pricing, move to a different category, set packages, you know, things like that, you'll be able to do that. Delete them all. You can much more easily do that. And so that's going to apply to the add-ons, to the backdrops as well. See, we already have a bulk upload, but the bulk edit is new. And that's going to be kind of the same thing where, you know, you can check a bunch of them, you know, it'll update 200 at a time, things like that. And then lastly, packages as well. And so you can bulk edit your package settings, set, hey, I want to, update the status, set them to private, move to a group,
Yeah. And I love this. Another thing that's cool about that is you get more information on your packages in one page. I mean, the way the package manager's been set up, it's hard to see what all the settings are in one place. And this gives a little bit more visibility.
Yeah, and let me know if you run into any issues with this one. It does there's a lot of logic kind of buried in here. But we try to be smart about like showing it, making the information all fit, all fit where you can see it and so you can make changes. So we think that'll be real helpful. And then the other thing that kind of goes along with that is better sort options. So again, under like add-ons, the categories I still have to move one at a time. But I can go in here and reorder my add-ons, and now I can just drag and drop them around.
Yeah.
And, and have them save, update the sort order that way. Similar with your packages, you can go in here and reorder your services, change them around. You can click on a service, reorder the package groups, and then you can reorder your packages as well.
Awesome.
So yeah, basically drag and drop for all the sorting on those, and then bulk updates. And so
That's awesome.
that'll apply to all your packages, your add-ons, your backdrops, and then the new extras. And part of the reason we knew we want to launch this is with with these new settings, it's kind of a hassle to need to find like, hey, I need to set my I'm using this new feature and now I've got to go through a million packages and update them one at a time. So basically we just want to make it a little bit easier when if you do make use of the new feature. So
Tiffany and Gerald like it. Tiffany says would be great to move items from one category packages to another add-ons. I don't know that we'll ever support that because the features are different. Basically, the data is different, so to speak.
Yeah, some of the pricing and like
Yeah,
how it functions gets a
I
little.
get it, but it's and then Gerald says it creates a way to see all the prices for add-ons much better than click one. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and it's like we like the simple view for, I mean, if you only have, a handful of items, like this is great. But yeah, once you have a ton of stuff, then it makes it a little
there's just different customer profiles and yep.
And we also, it's also searchable now, so you can just
and I think one of the things that it's funny because it's like it's people that are new to Check Cherry, it's often overwhelming to them, and then the advanced people, they're looking for power features and updates and all that stuff. So it's we're always trying to just balance it all, I suppose.
Yeah, half the feedback is, hey, can we do more things? And then the other half is, hey, this is too hard. How do I use it? So it's just a matter of just balancing those two things for us.
Yeah. And then Cottrell has her hand up or his hand up. You want to
Her
go ahead
hand.
and unmute. Hi.
Hi, how are
Thanks
you?
for coming. Good.
Okay. So I do like the extras. I understand it for my business, my industry. I do photo booths, balloons, and yard parties, yard signs. So a lot of times when people do I want to build a custom sign for them. I want them to I have certain signs in inventory. And so I say, okay, well, what do you want your happy birthday to look like? I have 15. Just pick one out of this collection. So
perfect.
That's what I would use that for. But a little deeper than that, I also see this as a way of getting more information without a question. But I wanted to see if we could also think about getting that information actually on a question. So is there a possibility, one, to add a question type that is a image drop down or a image selector, where you instead of having to type in the words, I can upload like the different colors of balloons I have. And so I want you to say, for this structure, you can get 3 colors. Now tell me the colors, because I think I'm like, I don't know the gentleman's name, but yes, I'd like to talk less to my clients. So
you're in the right spot.
So if I can get that information, I know you want balloon columns, they have to be a certain color. So just go ahead and tell me now. So one, a image selector as a question type. And then with that question, I find the questions a little bit bulky because sometimes I don't know where I've applied that question to and I can't see it really clearly. So maybe some way to make that a little more easily to see, okay, this add-on has this question or package has this question. And then the last thing, and it's all around questions, is I may not want that question answered until after they've booked and not necessarily in the booking process, because I do want them to book. I can find out later.
Yeah.
When you to get, like, if I had a t-shirt, well, what size do you need? That can be a question. I just want you to buy the t-shirt now and tell me the size later, but before. So those are the questions I had.
So what I will say is on that, so I'm assuming you're using the extra questions within the
Yes.
booking engine. So CheckTree also has questionnaires. And so these are used, basically these are, and I would say kind of the difference is questionnaires are often used after the booking is secured. So
Okay.
you can ask questions here, they'll show up in the questionnaires tab. You can send, customers can complete it. There's a lot of different options, when it comes to the files, all that stuff. And then on the color, is that during the booking process? You want them to select 3 colors?
It can be. It doesn't have to be. I do like flexibility, but I mean, I
Yeah.
can't. It can be a question that says, okay, you have chosen a balloon column or whatever package, and it has balloons for that
Mhm.
specific package. Tell me the colors. So it's not per booking, it's per item, right? Because you might want some balloons this color on a column, but on an arch, you want them another color.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but I do want them to be able to select the image. And that could be even props, right? You could say, show me
Yeah, you
all
could
the
have your
props.
balloon styles
Right.
or something as a add-on. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, you'll find the questionnaires a little more flexible. They're more intended for after the booking process, because they tend to be more complicated things. We don't have, so you can upload like a static image. We don't have a thing to let them choose between 5 different images, but like what I see people do is like upload like an image that shows the choices and then maybe like a radio button below it, like where they can choose one of the 5 or something like that.
Oh, okay. That's an option.
In the with the questionnaire questions, those can be optional. So like you could say, oh, this, I only ask this question if the
Okay.
package is X or something like that. So do we I thought we supported add-ons. I guess it's just packages, but so you can make them conditional in that sense, or this only shows up if they chose a certain item in an earlier question as well. So some of that stuff is doable, but yeah, I mean, it can certainly be, another thing we've talked about is like maybe add-ons should have, when you're choosing an add-on, maybe there's a questionnaire or something or a color or something that I could see, I could see that making sense as well.
Okay. So one more question then. So how do I do, like, when they are adding something that I want them to purchase or give me all the information through the website, I'll build a package and all that. But say for custom decor, it's more of a conversation. So I just want generic information. And so when they click on the button from the website, I just want it to go to a questionnaire. So give me your guest count, your budget, and things like that, and pick 1 or 2 things. And then I'm going to come back and give you a specific quote for that. Yeah. So,
So we do have basically what are called like lead forms or lead capture forms or contact forms. And those are kind of similar. So basically under manage, business settings, and then leads, you can have different questions that show up there. And like you say, these are a little more like generic where it's about guest counts and numbers and tell us more and that type of stuff. And typically how that works is when they fill this out, we'll send you an email letting you know somebody filled it out, and then we'll create a lead in the in the database so you can see everything they submitted there as well. And then these can also, if you don't want to, if you make use of the online booking, we do have a setting where you can say like, oh, if they choose my decor package, instead of going through the online booking process, I just want them to fill out one of these contact forms. That is something you can do as well. So that way you can still send everybody to the booking engine. And then once they get to one of those questions, the custom type of question, then instead of like proceeding, it'll like say, hey, fill this form out as well. So that's an option as well. That's one of the advanced settings on packages under display lead form, and then that'll display from one of the lead forms that show up. So
But
yeah.
okay, so I thought that the only thing with the lead form though is the questions were a little bit limited to like.
So the lead forms, those will show any there's a bunch of like kind of predefined questions in there, or that will show any of those custom fields.
The extra questions, yeah.
Yeah. So all of your extra questions are available there as well. So
Okay.
you've added something in there like you know, whatever, you know, yeah, something custom.
As always, just, you know, if you have specifics to look at, chat with us from within your account.
Okay.
You know, we can
Thank
take
you.
a look. Yeah. And we
Thank
kind of go from there. So yeah, great questions. And love that you're running 3 different types of services. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And so, okay, we've got still almost 10 minutes left here. So Colette, sorry.
Yes, guys. Sorry, I've been talking a lot today, but I heard something about you guys taking a deposit, like a pre-authorized, like as if when we go to the hotel or something. Can we put a hold on someone's card, for example, if
No.
they do a rental? We can't
No,
do
the
that with
thing
you
is
guys.
that the way that those authorizations work is they're like short term, like a week or
Yeah, which
30 days.
is not bad. Which is not bad if
But
someone
well,
is.
but most customers book so far in advance. That's
Yeah,
not gonna work.
exactly.
See, and so it's like if
Yeah.
we can't deliver on a consistent process, it just leads to confusion.
What if
Not a good
we
experience.
calculate the pre-authorized, because there's a button of us automatically withdrawing from their credit card. Is there a possibility of us also, like a week before, the day before their event, we put a hold on X amount of, with their consent?
Yeah, I mean, it just
It's too much, huh?
well, like, I mean, sure. I mean, could we program it to where it's doing, I don't, like, it's low priority, I think, because I think it would cause a lot of customer issues on your side and our side.
Oh, well,
quite
on
frankly.
my side, it caused a few problems. A lot of people clicked on it, and they're like, "Why did you take from my credit card?" I'm
Yeah,
like,
like if they use a debit card, all of a sudden we're like taking, authorizations on debit card basically reduces balance. Like it's just not,
"Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be I don't think it would be used much. And,
but can we do it separately? For example, like through Square or whatever, a pre-auth?"
you can't do it. You can't do pre-auth.
Yeah,
Or
pre-op
maybe with Square, I don't know, but
yeah, it depends on the card type, but it's, it's as short as a week that you can do it.
it's,
And you're supposed to have the card there. You're not supposed to auth somebody's card unless, unless
yeah,
they
like,
All right,
because
makes sense, guys.
so the classic example of this is actually e-commerce, because you authorize a card, and then you go get them inventory, and then when you ship it, you can charge the card. That's basically how that, a lot of that works. And so, but it's just not for security deposits. And it's not really, because it's not really a deposit. It's an authorization. I mean, they're not really,
Sure,
so,
sure.
and Tiffany, I don't know if that answers your question, but it's, it's not, I don't think it's a good use case.
Like it can fail as well. So like
Yeah.
if their card, doesn't go through, now you still didn't really get the deposit
Yeah.
anyway.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Yeah. But all that being said, I mean, some kind of a little bit more like,
We
smoothing
can find, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I wish it just we're limited by what the card networks do, basically. I mean, you think you go into a hotel and they authorize the card, and I think sometimes, and then you check out and then they charge you. I don't know. Or I guess you check in. I don't know how that works. Or they authorize for more or something like that. Anyway. Yeah. So I guess Theo, Gerald, I'll get to you next. Theo has his hand up. We haven't heard from him yet.
Yeah, so mine was just kind of about the security deposit thing as well, because like I know you said some people can manually return the security deposit after billing the card, but will that return rate affect the ability to then take cards if you're doing too many of them?
No, we haven't seen that happen, because we do have some customers do that. I mean, keep in mind, e-commerce companies have high return rates. I mean, that's not, uncommon to do refunds. And the amount of refunds that happen on CheckCherry are pretty low. I mean, it just doesn't happen. But you think about if you're selling shoes and, you end up selling some, you have a return policy, and there's quite, probably quite a few refunds going on. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. I'd be more concerned you're losing whatever percentage on the processing fees. And I don't know that, and I guess if you really got into a tiff with the customer, they could still charge it back. You'd still be in problems there. I mean, it's not like you're guaranteed the money.
Well, yeah, and I understand that. I mean, it's just like with one aspect of my business of what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to hedge against theft. Like, because I don't stay with any of my booths.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, like, there's
Another
multiple.
setting you can require a card be on file and then go in and charge the card if you wanted to do that. Again, I think that yeah, it's under payment settings. So you can like say, hey, you have to say yes, I'm allowed to, or I'm going to keep a card on file.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
That solves it. I'd rather do that versus.
But just keep in mind that, like, okay, so great, you have a problem with somebody. They're probably a POS, you know what I mean? And then like they're going to charge the card back. You're not really in any better position in all likelihood, is what I would argue. And you're probably better off sending somebody a demand letter, an invoice, an offering than, hey, look, I'll charge your card. Here's my contract. I mean, anyway, that's kind of how I wouldn't.
No, I like the way that you're going with that though, Judd, because like again, I don't have the processing fees to do a return. I would just ask for a card on the file,
and it's not guaranteed money. You know what I mean? I mean, it's
you're
not,
right.
like they're going to charge it back. You're going to tip with some, it's just like, and then it's a waste of, I'd find some other ways to. Have you had it happen yet? I would be curious also to that.
No, but I could see that it could potentially happen with one thing that I'm working on, but I still don't think it'll be super high.
Yeah, and that's another thing is what I see is it's common for us entrepreneurs to kind of see a problem and structure our business around preventing something that may happen, but probably won't, or if it does, it's very rare. And then now you're going to basically inconvenience all your customers requiring a card and potentially lose sales.
And 80% of people are honest, right?
Yeah, so I would kind of like wait for something to be a problem before I solved it and made life difficult for other customers. And I think requiring somebody to save a payment is not terrible, but you're just adding more roadblocks.
No, I like the way you think.
Thank
you for that.
Yeah. Gerald, what's up?
Okay, I'm gonna try to bring it back to our new things here. I've got a couple of quick questions. Can you make the prop? We're going to use the prop example that you did. Can you make it free in some packages, kind of like the backdrops? If you pick a certain package, the backdrops come in at zero, like a no charge for it. You know how your backdrops you have.
Yeah, good question. I don't remember.
Because that would be great. Because then we can bundle it into it.
No, we don't have that currently. It makes sense though. Yeah, I could see.
Yeah, because we're going to sell packages with, like, for instance, we'll sell the table, and then we want them to be able to get some of them free. But if they don't get the table, then I want them to pay for them.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay. My other question is how do I get more than two of these? Because I can think of a whole pile of things on it.
Gerald's got all kinds of.
You turn them to add-ons, and I get the thing that you don't want too many steps for them, but realistically, if we're attaching some of these to just if they get an add-on, it'll pop up, or just if they do a certain package, it'll pop. It's not going to be too many of them, and yeah, like I'd like four to be. The ability to have four different ones that I could add in, and I don't care how long when I hover over manage how long my list is on my end.
Gerald.
Well, yeah, it does impact things like so that's one of the things too is like the customer portal gets a little long, things like that. So but yeah, we're
open to figuring stuff out.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, like if they have an extra step in the booking, that just means that's more things that they can book from us. So I can think of at least 4 things off the top of my head I'd love to do. And the last one I had is going into today, I had no idea what you were talking about, and I love this because this is exactly what I've been banging my head thinking this would be so awesome if we can do these types of things. But my question on it was I wasn't sure if the update thing was going to be built into the ability to sell updates or upgrades to people after they've booked, a process to do that, or a way that the system would know they already have these items. So I don't want to just send a generic, hey, you can buy uplighting at 50% off because it's close to your wedding if they already paid full price. Is there a way to do that in the system already where it can kind of look at a package? Like, is there conditional emails? Like, if this is there, then send this email? Like, I don't know if there is or not. So I'm just kind of
not at the moment. And I could see where it'd be helpful. It makes sense. I think, most customers wouldn't use it or configure it, I don't think. But I get it. You know,
Yeah, like I was
we
wondering,
don't,
like,
we don't have an elegant solution at the moment.
like if there's in the client area, like when they're in there, there's a like a tab or something for upgrades where
I mean, what you might be able to say, hey, like, I mean, I don't know if you have specifics, but like one thing you could do right now is just kind of keep it general and like kind of manually handle it. Send an email, hey, go to the add-ons, and if you want any of these, I'll give you a deal. You know, 50% off this or something like that. You know,
once you get a
I'm
few
not quite
bookings.
sure, and then kind of let's see how it goes. I don't know. You know, I could see where there'd be different percentages, and yeah, I mean, like you're a week away, you have updating
The
available.
add-ons. Yeah, you know,
I get it.
different
Like, why not bring it? You know, I
Mhm.
get a few extra bucks.
Yeah, like I want to send it a bunch of to photo with people that inquired even as leads sort of thing, and those I can manually track because they're still sitting in leads. I see their weddings coming up this weekend or whatever, but it'd be neat if you could kind of do some targeting ads for upsells, and then you could just I guess the concept on it, and this is from other photo booth people, it's like they just sell the booth and then they worry about the selling upgrades. Like, do you want prints or digital? Get that booked, and then you can always from there between then and the event you can sell them the add-on books and the extra prints and certain experiences or things like that as they get closer along, sort of thing, where they might not put all the money out in front, but you get the booking and then you can retarget them because they're already one of your customers before the event. So that's kind of what I was thinking. But yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Love it. And then we'll do one more. We're out of time, but hey, Control has one more. Let's just throw it in there.
Yep.
We'll run a little past.
So just hi on payment methods, something like a firm, is that a possibility, or pay now, buy now, pay later?
So we do support Klarna. So if you go
Oh.
in
Similar idea.
manage payment settings, Klarna is an option. Basically, you can do
I didn't realize that.
yeah.
You can also do your own payment plans in Klarna. What does Klarna charge? It's pretty high.
Klarna is we should show that on here.
We don't show that. I think it's like 6%.
Yeah. The good thing about Klarna is, you know, the customer makes payments, but you get the full money up front. And so that part's nice, but the downside is you pay a higher fee than credit cards, about twice as much.
I really think a service like that is designed around selling like product that you ship right away and the person gets right away. Most of our customers charge the full amount by the time they show up and do the work anyway. Or, you know, it's
Yeah, and then you can also offer your customers payment plans, and then those with a payment plan, it's kind of similar, except you're kind of financing it in that like you don't get all the money up front, but you're not paying the partner charges on that. So yeah, that is an option now. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Love it. Okay, hey, thanks guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for the questions. We appreciate you, and yeah, we'll let you guys know when this is ready, and yeah, we'll keep on going. So appreciate it. Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yep. Bye guys.